Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today, we got a lot to talk about. Buckle up for this one. Yeah, it has to do with cars too. That's why I said buckle up. But seriously, so much insanity coming out of the Sussex camp today. We have got to talk about it. I can't even believe it. But before we do, I want my co-host to say hi. Say hi, co-host.
Hello, this is Jay, also known as Dr. Bad Vibes. You can find me on YouTube and Twitch. And I came down to talk about the Duke and Duchess of Hazzard. Sounds like they were in a wild car chase.
Yeah, so I did a video, which you can definitely go back and check out. It went up earlier today, all about the stupid gold dress moment, sponsored by Hertz, that they had accepting a BS award. What else is new, right? Now we need to talk about the nonsense that apparently went down after the event. You guys, I just can't even with these two. We smell so much BS, and we're here to break it all down for you. So they're in New York City for this BS award, and apparently they were involved in a, quote, near catastrophic car chase while in New York City. A spokesman claims, you guys, this is coming from the Daily Mail. We have got to talk about this. So as you know, as I talked about, they went to that stupid award last night. You can watch my video on that. Okay. So much weird stuff is coming out that we have to talk about. So apparently after the event, they got into a blacked out SUV, whatever this big black car here. Okay. And it's being reported that they switched to a taxi cab. We'll get into that, but people are thinking that what they did was much like they did with Doria, drop her off 2 blocks before the wedding venue so she's not in the photographs. They had a taxi waiting 2 blocks from this venue so that they could hop into that. And they're claiming that they got chased around for 2 hours in New York.
So the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, who I will now call the Duke and Duchess of Hazzard because the car chase is all I can think of, were involved in a quote-unquote near catastrophic car chase while being followed by paparazzi in New York, the couple's spokesperson said. They were in the city on Tuesday with Meghan's mother, Doria Ragland, for an event at which the Duchess received an award that totally wasn't paid for. The three of them are said to have been subjected to a quote-unquote relentless pursuit involving half a dozen blacked-out vehicles. All right. So I've been to New York twice, so I'm clearly an expert. There are hired drivers everywhere. Every vehicle is a blacked-out SUV. Also, it looks like they got out of their own blacked-out SUVs into a cab, and presumably that was their security, so they were probably followed home by said SUVs. So, one, that, were they being chased by their own people? Two, they're in New York. What kind of... It's not 1980s movies. What kind of car chase can you get in New York? A 2-hour car chase, maybe bumper to bumper, 5 miles an hour peak speed for like 4 blocks. I mean, that's probably what the car chase was, if it even happened. I mean, it all just reeks of BS. I mean, it sounds like they're trying to, feign more danger for security help. I don't know. Or more likely, maybe Harry was turned around, saw his reflection in the window, and he's like, "Hey, quit following me."
I think it was Hertz Rent a Car saying, hey, come back. You forgot to mark if you want the insurance or not. You forgot to make sure that you have a full tank of gas. So, yeah, none of it makes any sense. As per usual with these two, they're claiming that it was a 2-hour, nearly catastrophic car chase. I'm sorry, define nearly catastrophic, because anything can be nearly catastrophic, right? You could sneeze the wrong way and have a stroke. So your sneeze could be nearly catastrophic. That's just the most BS thing I've ever heard. So their spokesperson is saying that, it was a car chase at the hands of a ring of highly aggressive paparazzi. Quote, this relentless pursuit lasting over 2 hours resulted in multiple near collisions involving other drivers on the road, pedestrians, and 2 NYPD officers. Oh, don't worry. The NYPD has just spoken up and said, not what happened. We'll get into that. But I just want you to think about that. Just all these near misses, you guys. It's a big story for them. It lasted 2 hours with almost near catastrophic near misses and almost got people hurt. What?
The other thing that occurred to me is it's speculated in most cases that she calls the paparazzi on herself. So if any of this were true, that she used some monkey paw wish, where it summoned like the Hell's Angels paparazzi, and they came up and like snarling and using old timey flashbulbs with gunpowder, running down the street with them. Probably not, but that's what I like to imagine.
That is funny. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, she keeps using backgrid, I think it is, that they're saying, where you basically dial a pop on yourself. And I believe that's what the Twitter sleuths were pointing out, is they believe it was backgrid that was taking some pictures of them. But yeah, the whole thing is crazy. I mean, it's just crazy because they're said to have arrived with all these blacked out SUVs. And now suddenly, as they left, again in blacked out SUVs, 2 blocks later, they switched to taxi cabs and they claim they're being followed by blacked out SUVs. Anybody else find this so completely fishy? You know what's funny? I told Jay this story before he knew what was going on. I said, they claimed they were chased by somebody. Who do you think they were chased by? Jay, tell him. He didn't even hesitate. He just had an answer ready to go.
Immediately, my first thought was the IRS, because taxes have just been filed. Archwell's probably being looked at, and they're just like, what? And for my probably for everybody that's not aware, that is not how the IRS actually looks. It does in my mind, but that's a wrestler from the 90s in the WWF that the owner used to make fun of the actual IRS because he got in trouble because he's a psychopath. Anyway, yeah, I mean, it's like, it's not the paparazzi. I mean, we were kind of talking about it. I mean, I'm sure people were trying to get photos. I mean, photos sell. We're well aware of that. The photos we've seen do not indicate any kind of high speeds. It looks like typical New York bumper to bumper BS. So people may have been running up to the car, taking photos, maybe holding up traffic in the crosswalks or jaywalking in front of the cab. The cab driver definitely doesn't look in fear of anything, unless maybe the meter wasn't running.
And see, even here we have a photo of Harry with his phone out. I think that dum-dum just has it on selfie mode and he doesn't realize it. And he's like, oh, a guy with red hair is following us. He's such an idiot. Okay, but yeah, so they're claiming that it lasted for 2 hours. It was nearly catastrophic. I'm tripping over that language, you guys. I really am. I mean, it's just so them. Okay, but let me tell you what's happened since this nearly catastrophic. I had a nearly catastrophic run to Publix this morning. They ran out of my sweet tea. It was nearly catastrophic. I mean, what? So I was jumping on Twitter to see what Twitter was saying about all this. They were calling BS on this as well. I found this guy, Cameron Walker. He's a royal correspondent with GB News. And he was reporting on this initially that, it was a relentless pursuit. By the way, interesting that they didn't put this story out last night when it supposedly happened. They like to do that. They like to wait till after an event. So that way things can't exactly be verified the right way. Do you know what I'm saying? Interesting, right? Anyway, so they put it out today. It's nearly catastrophic. Well, Cameron reports there was an update from the NYPD. So Cameron says, update from NYPD, quote, on Wednesday evening, May 16th, the NYPD assisted the private security team protecting the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Of course, they have to use their titles even in this. There were numerous photographers that made their transport challenging. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex arrived at their destination and were no reported collisions, summonses, injuries, or arrests in regard. One version of events is slightly more dramatic than the other. Yep, so Jay, I think you called it. It sounds like there were, 1 or 2 photographers trying to get pictures. No big deal. No arrests were made. It may have slowed down traffic a little bit, but, of course, these 3, I'm including Dory in this because she's taking part in it too. She goes along with whatever Maggie Poo says. And so these 3 are claiming, nearly catastrophic. Whereas the NYPD was like, it's a little annoying. I mean, of course they're going to play victim on this, right?
So unlike the real true royalty, the Dukes of Hazzard, their car chase is just, it's just this Duke and Duchess in quotations, trying to make their way the only way they know how, which is just a bit more than the crown will allow. Google it. So, yeah, he's just trying to get King Pa to pay for security. Probably not going to work. I'm sure they have people that can think and see things. Um, and that's not even enough. The night didn't end here. The night's still young.
Yeah, before we transition to the next story, because yes, there is another story that happened supposedly last night as well. I think you're right. I think you hit the nail on the head. It just goes back to the more they claim, oh, security, we need security, the more they can try to pull at King Charles's heartstrings, purse strings, whatever it is, and try to get more money out of him, would be my guess. I still can't understand I just, it's taking up too much real estate in my brain. So in the comments, let me know what you think was going on. Why would they get in a black car for a couple of blocks and then get in a cab? Seriously, like, what is that? Money saving? What is that? Appearances? What's going on with that? I think that's just so bizarre. If you're really worried about your security, remember he always says we fly private because it's too big of a security risk. Are you riding around in a yellow cab in New York City? Probably not, you know? It just, none of it makes any sense. I don't even know why I'm trying to make it make sense at this point. But let's pretend like they're telling the truth and they got chased for 2 hours in New York City. Why were there not phone calls to 911? Why was there not action on behalf of the bodyguards? Whatever. I just, again, doesn't make any sense. Like Jay said, it's in New York. If you haven't been, it's usually, in my experience, my limited experience, it's bumper to bumper. So you can't move very fast if you're in the city. And if you're outside the city, where are you driving to? Buffalo? I mean, what, did you want to go see Niagara Falls? What's going on? I feel like I'm losing my mind with these two, seriously. Okay, but if this wasn't enough, something else is being reported from last night. Jay, why don't you tell everybody what else is going on? Because they don't feel like they're getting enough attention while asking for privacy.
Yes, but wait, there's more. Quote-unquote stalker is arrested lurking outside Harry and Meghan's Montecito mansion in the middle of the night after the security staff placed him under a citizen's arrest. So the details are vague. Sounds like the guy may have driven cross country, question mark.
Like that astronaut?
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if he wore a diaper. Or it is, I mean, it is L.A., somebody may have been, Seth Rogen was famously like, oh yeah, if you park a car out there, it's going to get broken into.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows what it could have been. It could have been somebody torn up on whatever substance and ended up in the wrong place. But it sounds like he was arrested and by the actual police later and under misdemeanor stalking charges. So I don't know what the difference is. I mean, obviously misdemeanor is not that serious. So who knows what it was? It doesn't sound like it was that big of a deal. May not even be anything. Just weird how all of this lines up at the same time. It's like, I wonder what negative news stories about to come out that they're trying to deflect. Mm-hmm. That was my first thought. Maybe not. Maybe they just want security money. I don't know. One or the other.
Yeah, that whole thing is weird. There's not really much information. They alluded to the guy might be, I don't know, mentally, what's the correct word here? Disturbed, confused. We're not sure. Could have been Harry's dealer. Who knows? But the details are very vague. It sounds like the guy wandered up to the property. I don't even think he was arrested on the property. I think he was just getting too close and was clearly not all the way there. So they did a citizen's arrest, it sounds like. And like Jay said, it was a misdemeanor. And he was released, I think, with bail. It doesn't matter. It's just interesting timing that the same night that they had a harrowing 2-hour chase with paparazzi, again, I'm using quotation marks on that one, and the same night that they're, showing up like this to accept a BS award, somebody's trying to get into their home. I mean, I think Jay's right. I do think it's to get more money from King Pa, as Jay would say. But I really do wonder, I didn't think about that until he said it. I wonder, is there more news about to come out? Because this is a classic thing that celebs do, right? They'll put out news stories or try to get attention over here while something else is actually going on. And I wonder. But then I think also she just signed with that are they a PR company, management company, I think it is. I wonder if it has something to do with that. Like they're just trying to get their names out there a whole bunch. I don't know. Whatever it is, they continue to be a train wreck and it's kind of hilarious to watch. So I'm sure more news will come out about these two, and your two, as in Jen and Jay, will be here to talk about it. So with that, we're going to leave you. And as soon as they do something else crazy or dumb, we'll be talking about it. I really do want more information about that supposed car chase. I would love it if the NYPD sent them a big fat bill saying, thanks for wasting our time. Here you go. Something like that. Thanks for making crap up to try to get attention for yourself. Here's a bill for that. Anyway, as more information comes out, we'll be talking about it. But Jay, tell everybody where to find you and what you're working on.
You can find me on YouTube and Twitch as Dr. Bad Vibes, playing video games. So if you ever want to see Street Fighter characters punching Marvel characters, I make them punch, and you can see it.
Yeah, and if you're here watching, hey, check out, we have a live chat this Saturday, May the 20th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Google what time that is for you and join us. We got some coronation trinkets that we will be doing live giveaways on. Jay has found some software that automatically draws names, so if you're there in the chat, you are entered to win. So if you win, we will be contacting you and figure out where you want something sent. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited. We'll answer your questions. We'll just have a good old-fashioned chat, talk about what Harry and Meghan are up to and whatever else you guys want to talk about. But as always, if you want to further support the show, we do have merch available. Make it make sense. And recollections may vary. Wow, that totally could fit this episode because, yeah, recollections may vary. That's a very nice way of saying these two are lying.
You may recall that as my polite way of calling them fuckers.
As always, we do extra content and bonus deep dives over on Patreon. Patreon.com/Real Housewives Recaps. That's where you can become an executive producer and get your shout out. Speaking of which, I'm going to shout out my executive producers now. So huge thank you to Linda. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you to Paige. Huge thank you to Teresa. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Kay. Thank you, Shauna. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Aaron and Frank. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Ann M. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Ann H. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Glynis. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Patty. Thank you, Adair Becker. Thank you to Erica. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Annette. Thank you, Barb G. Thank you to Diana. Thank you, Allison B. Thank you, Jean. Thank you, Lori. Thank you to Pauline. Thank you to KT. Thank you, Jolene. Thank you, Stromboli. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Loie. Thank you, Lucy H. Thank you to Georgia. Thank you, Susie. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Robbins Landing. Thank you to Helen. Thank you to Mara. Thank you, Ashley C. Thank you to Molly. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Sand Squid. Thank you to Rach. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Dee Dee. Thank you, Nina. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Penny. Thank you, Domby. Thank you, Android P. Thank you to Sheena. Thank you, Aaron M. Thank you, Faye. Thank you, Judith. Thank you, Spectrum Mom. Thank you, Vanessa B. Thank you, Christy. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Mimi Heathcote. Thank you, Misty. Thank you, Candy. Thank you, Anita. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you to Bree. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Stephanie. Well, I so appreciate you all. Thank you if you are on the Patreon. Thank you if you're an executive producer. And hey, if you're not, definitely check it out. We have a lot of fun over there. Guys, I hope you have the best day, and I will talk to you again soon. Can't wait to bring you another video like this. Take care. Bye-bye.